So the UFC has officially canceled the rematch of Conor McGregor and Nate Diaz and replaced it with a light heavyweight title unification between Jon Bones Jones and Daniel Cormier. Now, McGregor sent out this tweet, a quote from President Dana White with a picture of McGregor laughing. UFC 200 is just as good without the notorious MMA, that's Nate Diaz, and will generate the same numbers. Stephen A., whose side are you on here, White or McGregor?
I'm with Dana White on this because, listen, I wanted to see Conor McGregor as well. I think he's a phenomenon. I think he's box office. What he's done for the sport in terms of bringing additional attention to it should be praised. And Conor McGregor is a tremendous asset for the UFC. But he's not the UFC. He's not bigger than the brand. And when you listen to him speak and articulate his positions on matters, whether it's via Twitter, Facebook, or beyond, whether it's with words or with captions or with pictures or whatever, it seems like he's trying to say, I'm bigger than the sport, or I'm the reason the sport is so big. And you can feel that way all you want to while you're following the rules. But the second that you don't honor your commitments, then that's a different ball game altogether. I've been on a record, Skip, as you well know, literally saying what I would like is for Conor McGregor to be fined heavily, but still be allowed to fight in UFC 200. Dana White's position has been very, very simple. We've spoken about it. He's spoken to the media about it. He and I have spoken privately about it. He says, I cannot allow him to allow the rules to be changed for him. I cannot allow a different set of rules for him than anybody else. He said, I remember one time when Mike Tyson was in a press conference and he was like, y'all come and watch the show pay-per-view. Y'all come and watch the event, such and such. Floyd Money Mayweather is close to a billionaire, if not a billionaire. He did the same thing, along with various others. There is no fighter that gets around promotional responsibilities. And when you combine that with the fact that other fighters have complained to Dana White about the level of latitude that has been given to Conor McGregor compared to them, that's something that Dana White has to protect. Now, I think it could have been handled if Conor McGregor had talked to him privately. But Dana White never got that call. What he got was a public outcry from McGregor essentially challenging his authority. And Dana White's not going to go for that. And that's why this is what it is. And I would like to say that a rematch between Jon Bones Jones and Daniel Cormier, to me, is bigger than a Conor McGregor rematch with Nate Diaz. In my opinion, I'm a fan. You know how much I love Jon Bones Jones. I think he's the best in the world, even though he looked a little bit human this past weekend. But, Skip, I love Daniel Cormier as well. And I think he does an outstanding job as an analyst and color commentator on Fox. What I would like to say, however, taking this opportunity to touch on this, is this to Daniel Cormier. Some of the stuff you're saying to John, I know y'all despise one another, and if it's just for an edge psychologically in a fight, that's different. But beyond that, it's so cruel right now when you talk about his problems, his history with drugs and the law and all of that, and you bring all of that stuff into the equation. I sincerely hope that it's just to get a psychological edge, because Daniel Cormier that I see with everybody else, he exhibits a lot more class than that. But he's not wrong. He's not lying. I know, but damn, it's like, it makes you say ouch.
But it's pre-fight hype. Come on, you got to hype it. You know, come on now.
Yeah.
Skip, before you go, let me correct.
I don't know if they need to go that far.
Let me correct one thing. I want to make sure I didn't confuse people. Excuse me, Stephen A. This is McGregor that tweeted this out, obviously not Nate Diaz, in case there's any confusion there.
Right.
Okay.
And that's his handle, Notorious MMA.
Now we're back to our issue of whatever it was last week. And I asked you a hard question here, which is the question. Right now, at this moment, more valuable to MMA, to UFC, is it Conor McGregor or is it Dana White? Who's the more valuable player here?
I've said to you, Dana White.
Well, I don't know. This has, you know, Conor McGregor has the 3 top gates ever in this sport. It's pretty valuable. Again, I'm not as big a fan as Molly is or you are, but for my money, I'd rather see Conor fight in 200 than John Jones, and I thought he was a little more human. I'm just not quite like we had John on the show the other day. He just doesn't have the electricity. He's eloquent, but he doesn't, you know, he's on the backside of his career. He still hasn't lost, obviously, but I'm not as into him as I am to this other guy who's just absolutely charismatically electrical. I don't know what Conor McGregor's going to say. I'm not sure what he's going to do. He suffered a shocking loss. I would like to see the rematch. He is still the bigger draw, slightly bigger to me than John Bones Jones. That's just me. I'm a novice sort of outsider looking in. But I told you that Dana White has been able to run this sport with an iron fist, dictatorial rule. It is my way or the highway. And what I do admire about Dana White, he could have done what you suggested, just some kind of a fine, wrist slap, whatever. Just let it happen because it's a big draw for him, big money for him. And by golly, he just drew a line and said, nope, you think you're in, but you're still out. I had a rule, you broke it. Nobody really cares now how big a deal the rule is, but it's a big deal to the dictator, to Dana, and the dictator said, you are out. And I got to tell you, as much as I think Conor is a little more valuable right now than Dana, I admire the heck out of that. Dana took a big stand here. Dana White, way to go. You backed up. You put your money where your mouth is.
He runs it.
Yeah, he runs it. And he ran him off 200. Well, because obviously Conor was campaigning to get back, right?
No question. I would tell you this, Skip. Well, he wasn't campaigning. He was assuming he would automatically be back because it's Conor McGregor. Right. And that's why, and Dana's like, no, it's not happening. But Molly can speak to this, Skip, because listen, I'm a fan of individuals within the sport. I'm not that big of I respect the hell out of the fighters, but I'm not as big of a fan of the sport. But I love me some Dana White. I love me some Conor McGregor. And nobody loves John Bones Jones more than me. And I respect the hell out of Daniel Cormier, not just, again, as a fighter because he's big time, but as an analyst as well. I think that he's fantastic. I love watching him speak. I love watching him fight. And I think he's a credit to the profession. I'm just saying that it made me cringe how cruel he was. But I know they hate each other, so you're probably right. It's promoting the fight, but I can assure you, Skip, they hate each other. They're not joking. Okay. With that being said, this fight is bigger than the Conor McGregor fight.
Think,
now, Molly, you tell me.
Yeah,
go ahead, Molly.
I'm not disappointed at all because this is a title fight. In John Bones Jones, he's must-see. He's the best in the sport. And, yeah, obviously maybe some ring rust, but getting to see him again in a title fight, the rematch against Daniel Cormier. Daniel Cormier's only losses against John Jones. John Jones still undefeated. I think it's going to be great. And we still have November 12th coming up, which we should go to. That one's at Madison Square Garden. Potentially they could have their rematch there. We're going to see Nate Diaz and McGregor again. So Dana wins. He gains control, and we still have an awesome card for that July 4th weekend. Skip's not sold. He's giving me side-eye.
I'm big side-eye.
Give me side-eye.
But I'll back off.
Okay.
I'll give you that.
Right.
Skip, I'm telling you, Jones, Cormier is no joke.
No,
That's
I know,
a mega fight.
I know it's not, but the shocking upset was obviously Nate Diaz. I want to see it again.
You will.
Yeah, okay, but I want to see it sooner than later.
You got to remember, Skip, you talk about a shocking upset. He moved up 2 weight classes.
Yeah, I know. No, and it was a last-second deal, man. They just threw it together.
That's right.
And I was intrigued by how last-second it was, and if Conor McGregor can figure out how to beat a bigger man this time.
Yeah,
that's
exactly,
more intriguing.
Figuring out how to be a bigger man. But he just makes it so compelling because he does such a great job promoting because of the way that he is. But it wasn't that. I'm saying what they lack in sizzle promotionally, they more than make up for with the actual fight, which is Jones Cormier, because it doesn't get much bigger.
Heavyweight crown, really Skip. You're going to be watching. Cam Newton didn't apologize for his infamous actions during his press conference after the Super Bowl, but now he says, excuse me, you know what, Herm?
Wait.
Herm.
Yes.
Wait.
You're here. Come on in.
House.
Come on in.
Yeah, well, you know, I'm looking at this list. There have been 15 quarterbacks drafted from the University of California, Berkeley. How about that?
Wow.
In the history. 15. 5 of them in the first round. There's going to be another one drafted in the first round. That makes number 6. The school had a lot of quarterbacks. Huh.
Wow.
Interesting.
You went there.
Absolutely. Played with some of them, too.
Her next.